So in yesterday's class, we are discussing about the Java Stack administration. Correct?
Yeah,
In Java Stack administration means what are the services will be there in Java Stack like Java Message Server, Java Dispatcher, Gateway Server, ICM, Java Server Process, SDM, Software Deployment Management. So these are different types of services will be there for Java Stack system. Each and every service will provide some each and every service will provide some services, correct? Based on the services only my Java stack will run. If any one of the service is not running properly, then what will happen? Ultimately, the Java stack will not run properly. So in work directory, I can see all the services related log files information. If any service is not running properly, then I can go to the work directory and I can see the service related log file. What happened? What is the problem? What is the issue? Why the service is not running properly? Okay. So that is the Java stack architecture information. Now, for Java stack also we have a memory parameters. Okay. So Java stack also we have some memory parameters. The memory parameters, the memory concept, we call it as a JVM parameters, Java Virtual Machine parameters, Java Virtual Machine parameters, JVM parameters. So how JVM parameters will be allocated and what type of JVM parameters will be there, how it will be allocated. When a Java program is calling, Java program means what? Java objects. When a Java object is calling, how my JVM parameters will be allocated. Like, what is mean by JVM? It is a Java Virtual Machine parameters. Okay. So how it will be allocated, we will discuss now. So Java Virtual Machine parameters mainly it consists of three parts. Mainly it consists of three parts. One is young generation, second one is tenured generation, third one is permanent generation. The naming conventions are different compared to ABAP stack. Okay, in ABAP stack also we have a memory parameters, like, right? So like that, in Java stack also we have a memory parameters. The memory parameters are called it as a Java virtual machine. Okay, so these are the virtual memory. This is the temporary memory. They will be created at the time of Java stack started. Once my Java stack has been started, this JVM parameters will be allocated, and whenever the Java program is executing, this Java memory parameter will be allocated to that program. Once the program has been completed, then the JVM memory parameter will be deallocated. What are the memory has been allocated to execute that program? Once the program has been executed, then the memory will be deallocated, and and whenever the memory has been released, okay, then you can use it for another waiting Java program. Got it? So this is the cycle, this is the procedure of my JVM parameter allocations. Okay. In JVM parameters, we have a three different parts are there, three different components, three different areas. What are the three different areas? First is a young generation, second one is tenured generation, third one is a permanent generation. Okay, you see what each and every generation contains, how it will work. Whenever my Java stack has been started, Okay, and my JVM means Java Virtual Machine. It will allocate the operating system memory. It will allocate operating system memory for each generation. My Java stack JVM parameters will be allocated. What we are discussing is Java, for Java stack JVM parameters will be allocated. Where it will take the JVM means where it will take the memory. Ultimately, it will take the memory from the operating system. Operating system memory means at operating system level, what are the memory has been configured. So my Java stack will allocate that operating system memory for each and every generation. For each and every generation means what? How many generations we have? Three different types of generations. One is young generation, second one is tenured generation, third one is permanent generation. These naming conversions you need to remember. These are the different types of naming conversions for Java stack JVM concept. Got it? So whenever my Java stack has been started, the virtual memory parameters will be allocated. JVM allocates what type of memory it will allocate? Operating system memory it will allocate to each and every generation. Means young generation it will allocate, tenured generation it will allocate, permanent generation also it will allocate. Whenever my Java stack has been started. Okay, and who will take care of this allocation? Ultimately, by JVM will take care of the allocation. Okay, once the initial space has been used, the virtual machine allocates further operating system memory space in stages up to maximum amount. The maximum value is defined as max size. Okay, what we are talking is whenever my Java stack has been started, my JVM will allocate operating system memory for each and every generation. This is one point. Okay. And after that, initially it will allocate some memory area. Initially it will allocate some memory area. That initial memory we call it as the initial size. Parameter name is initial size. Initial size parameter name what it contains? Initially, whenever my Java stack has been started, initially my JVM will allocate some operating system memory that is called it as initial size. Okay, and for example, once my Java program has been called and it will allocate to the initial memory. So initial memory has been occupied. Then what will happen? Initial memory is used. Then what will happen? The JVM will allocate further operating memory space and it will allocate some more memory space, okay, in a stages wise. Whenever my JVM is allocating, it will not allocate continuously, right? There is some limit is there. There is some max limit is there, correct? So whenever my JVM is allocating a memory, so it always contains some max limit. Okay, so the max limit we call it as a max size. This is one of the parameter name, max size. Max size means what? Once my initial space has been used, then my JVM will allocate some more operating system memory up to maximum amount. So that is called it as a max size. So here we have two parameters we discussed initially, right? Initial size is one of the parameter and max size is one of the parameter. These are the two parameters we have discussed in now. Okay. Next, whenever my JVM will allocate space to the Java programs, okay, my JVM will take care about the allocation of memory space. My JVM will take care of allocation of memory space for each and every Java programs. Java programs or Java applications. We can call it as a Java programs, or we can call it as a Java applications. Who will take care required memory space, allocation of required memory space? My JVM will take care automatically. It will allocate the required memory space for Java applications. Okay. So whenever one object is created, means whenever one application is going to executing, then what will happen? Implicitly it will assign memory space. Internally it will assign some memory space. Okay, and for example, one more Java application is required more memory space. There are two applications are there. One application is required less memory space, and second application is required more memory space. Then what will happen? What will happen? My JVM, what will do is my JVM will see what are the what are the applications or what are the objects are no longer used by my memory. Previously, what are the applications or what are the objects are assigned to my memory, and which one is no longer used? It will check and it will release the memory. Okay, it will release the memory and it will assign this released memory to my second application program. Got the point? So this is the way how my JVM Java virtual machine will allocate the memory space to the applications. Which type of application? Java application. Whenever one application is required more memory, then what will happen? My JVM, which takes the objects which are no longer used. For those objects memory, it will release it, and the released memory will be assigned to my required Java application programs. Okay, and who will take care? In JVM also we have one more component is there, garbage collector, GC. JVM we have one more component, garbage collector. What is the use of garbage collector? So what we discussed right now, point previously, so that will be taken care of my GC, garbage collector. This is one of the one of the component of my JVM. What it will do? What are the objects are no longer used? Those objects memory will be released by my garbage collector. That is the garbage collector responsibility. 1 second. So that is the responsibility of my garbage collector. It will release unused objects memory and it will assign to required objects. It will assign this memory to the required objects. Okay, and whenever the memory is allocating, so what are the different areas are there? The memory space that is available is called it as available memory or allocated memory. Means how much memory is available. So that is we call it as available memory or allocated space, allocated memory. So this memory will be reserved by my operating system, right? And this is, we call it as a reserved space. Reserved space means what? How much memory is allocated, means it's available. So that is, we call it as a reserved space. Okay, and the reserved space, since the entire space up to maximum limit, maximum size is available. The space that is not yet reserved called virtual memory. There are some different types of naming conventions are there. You need to remember those naming conventions. What is the naming conventions? Like available memory, and what is virtual memory, and what is initial size, what is the maximum size. So these are the different types of memory parameters we need to remember. Okay, available memory. And what is meant by virtual memory? The space not yet reserved is called it as a virtual memory. Means that is not yet reserved, that we call it as a virtual memory. If you see this diagram, we have an initial memory, we have a maximum memory, and we have a virtual memory, and we have an allocated memory, and we have a used memory. How many types of memory parameters are there? Initial, max, virtual memory, allocated memory, used memory, right? There are 5 different types of memory parameters. Memory types are there. Initially, how much it has been assigned, and every object will have some max limit. Means not object, for JVM it will assign from the operating system memory, and it will give you the max limit. Okay, and how much memory is not at reserved, means it's not used, that we call it as a virtual memory. And how much memory is reserved, total memory, we call it as allocated memory. And how much used as of now, that we call it as a used memory. So these are the different naming conventions, and these are the different types of memory parameters are there for my Java stack system. Ultimately, my JVM will take care to allocation of memory to each and every Java applications, right? So previously we discussed in my JVM Java virtual machine parameters. We have 3 different generations are there. Young generation, tenured generation, and permanent generation, right? So when it will used?
Yeah.
So whenever the objects have been created, means assigned newly to the applications, those objects will be stored in a young generation memory. Those objects will be stored in young generation. We have 3 different types of generations. Remember, young generation, tenured generation, and permanent generation. Now we are discussing about the young generation. What it contains? Whenever the objects have been newly created by my applications, means by my Java applications, whenever the objects are newly created, those newly created objects will be stored in young generation. Okay, and objects that have been required for a longer period of time by my application. Why? Because this is newly created objects by my application, so it's required a longer period of time. So the objects that have been required for a longer period of time by my application are automatically moved to tenured generation. Whenever the objects is required for a longer period of time, means it's required a more period of time, then those objects will be moved automatically to the next generation. What is the next generation? Tenured generation. Okay. The newer objects, where it will store? Newer objects are stored in a young generation, and the older objects are in the tenured generation. Objects that are permanently required by my JVM, such as what type of objects, classes, methods. So those are the permanent objects that are required by my JVM. So those will be stored in a permanent generation. Okay, and the objects which are no longer required by my application, this automatically removed from the generation. This process is known as a garbage collection. Okay, there are three different types of generations are there: young generation, tenured generation, and permanent generation. What are the newly objects are created by my applications? Those newly objects will be stored in young generation. What are the objects are old objects? Older objects means these are the not newly created. So those are old objects. So those objects will be automatically moved into tenured generation. And what are the objects are required permanently by my JVM? Those objects we call it as a permanent generation. And what are the objects are not required, means no longer required by my application? Those objects will be removed from the generation, any one of the generation. So this removing of generation from the generations, this process we call it as a garbage collection, GC, garbage collection process. My GC will be take care. Okay, and now we'll see the memory parameter naming conversions at my Java stack level. Generations have initially and initial will have an initial and a maximum size. For younger generation, you can define initial size with parameter XX new size. See, memory allocation terms, the generations have an initial and maximum size. Each and every generation will have a initial value and maximum value, like initial size, maximum size, right? For younger generation, now we are discussing about younger generation, you can define initial size with the parameter name. This is the parameter name, XX new size. And the maximum size we can define using this parameter name, XX max new size. Okay, this XX new size, XX max new size is for younger generation. For my younger generation, XX new size is initial size, XX max size is a maximum size. These two are for my younger generation. You can define the corresponding values, parameter generations also abbreviated to the permanent generation. Now we are discussing about the permanent generation. For permanent generation also we have a parameter names like XX permanent size, XX max permanent size. Means this is the initial size of my permanent generation, this is the maximum size of my permanent generation. Okay, and you can directly define the initial maximum for tenured generation. What about the tenured generation? For tenured generations also we have a initial size and we have a maximum size. The initial size, what is that? XMX. The XMX, what we call it as a, this is maximum heap size. XMX is maximum heap size. And the total size XMX, the total size of my young and tenured generation, the parameter is XMS, is called the heap size. XMX, XMS, these are the heap memory sizes. XMX is the parameter is called it as a maximum heap size. XMX means what? It's a maximum heap size and defines the total size of young and tenured generations. Maximum heap size is the total size of my young generation and tenured generation. Young generation and tenured generation. This I can call it as a maximum heap size.
When we need to define the sizes?
whenever my Java stack has been installed, my JVM will automatically allocate these memory parameters based on my operating system memory. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
The parameter XMS is called it as a start heap size or initial heap size. XMX is a maximum heap size. XMS is initial heap size. Okay. And the initial heap size is for total generation, young generation and tenured generation of my initial sizes. Initial size of young, initial size of tenured, we call it as a initial size of a heap size, XMS. See here. Young generation, tenured generation, permanent generation. Initial XX new size. Maximum XX new size. Every generation will have initial and maximum. Initial and maximum. Initial and maximum. Got it? So these are the memory parameters: XMX, XMS, XX new size, XX new size, and XX permanent size, XX max permanent size. These are the different types of memory parameters of my Java stack. So whenever Java stack has been started, the JVM will be allocated automatically. It will allocate the memory parameters by my JVM whenever my Java stack has been started. See this diagram and read this paragraph. Easily you can identify. Usually you can understand. It's not a confusion part. It's very simple. It's very understandable format. Okay. Whenever you are
Yeah. Can
listening in
you
the first time, whenever you are listening the first time these type of naming conversions, you will get some confusion. You will get some new one. These are
yeah.
naming conversions are correct. So slowly, whenever you are reading about the Java stack architecture, whenever you are reading about the Java stack memory parameter naming conversions, then you can easily identify. Because whenever we discuss the ABAP stack architecture or Java stack architecture the first time, how you feel this very new terminal, new naming conventions, correct, at that time?
Yeah.
So once we discuss slowly the topics into the concepts wise, then now you know what is message server, what is dispatcher, what is work process, right? What is gateway, what is dialog work process, what is background work process, what is Java server process, what is IC. Now you very well know about the naming conventions, correct? So like this, whenever you are reading continuously, then you can easily identify the naming conventions. You can easily remember these naming conventions. These are not confusion part. It's very understandable format. There is no confusion here. Straightforward. Got it?
Yeah.
Yes, we need to remember these naming conventions. XX new size, XX new size, XX permanent size, XX max size, and XMX, XMS. These parameters we need to remember what it contains. That's it.
Yeah. Anytime requirement will come to modify these memory sizes.
Memory sizes, yes, it will come, but when it will come, if the memory is not sufficient, then at that time we can increase heap size limit, maximum heap size limit. Okay.
Yeah. But how we will come to know memory size is not sufficient?
Whenever you're getting a very high response time for my Java stack system, and whenever you're getting a memory related errors in my Java stack system, okay, and whenever if you see allocated memory, used memory, Both are same. Means allocated means what? Maximum limit. So maximum limit is utilizing every time. Means what? Ultimately the memory is full. Correct? Apart from
Yeah.
that, there is no memory has been assigned to my maximum heap size limit. So ultimately I am receiving some memory related errors. So at that particular point of time, then we can do some analysis on that memory part on daily basis. We cannot say, we cannot write, we cannot assume whenever you are checking it the first time, and if you see any memory issue, then immediately increase the value and restart it. That is not a best practice. Okay, if you want to do some adjustments of my memory parameters, what you need to do is, you need to, first of all, you need to monitor every time, every day, every 1 hour, every 2 hours, every 3 hours. You need to monitor, you need to understand how my memory is been utilizing. Then only you can come to know. Got my point? Then only you know how much response time is there, how much load is there on my Java Stack system. You need to monitor every day, every time. Then you can understand what's going on into my Java Stack system. Okay.
Monitoring through T codes.
There is no T code concept in Java Stack, right?
Okay, okay.
No T code concepts in Java Stack. So to
So command.
administrate, no, to administrate my Java Stack system, SAP has provided some tools. The tools are these: NetWeaver Administrator, Visual Administrator, Config Tool. These are the tools. Got it?
Okay.
Config Tool, Visual Administrator, NetWeaver Administrator. These are the different tools SAP has provided to administrate your Java Stack system. Administrate means what? You can start your instance, you can stop your instance, you can read the log files, right? And you can do adjustments of your JVM parameters. Not only JVM parameters, you can do so many adjustments of memory parameters. Okay, any Java stack related parameters you can adjust. Got my point?
Okay, okay.
All these are different types of activities we can perform using Java Stack administration tools. What are the administration tools? NetWeaver Administrator, Visual Administrator, and Config Tool.
This one you will
Okay.
show. This one you will show, sir.
Yeah, we'll see in practically at OS level how we can open a config tool, Visual Administrator, and NWA. NWA means NetWeaver Administrator.
Okay, okay.
Okay. And config tool. What is the use of config tool? See here. The database must be running and NetWeaver application server must be running. One sec. So config tool, the database must be running and Java instance is not required to running, right? The database must be running. Java instance is not required to up. Okay. Means what? If my Java instance down, then also I can connect to my config tool. Okay. So this is, we call it as a offline tool. Config tool, we can call it as an offline tool. Offline tool means what? My Java instance see, config tool to maintain the settings in SAP NetWeaver in database. Okay, it is there necessary that the database is started so that you can change the settings of config tool. The database must be running. The database must be running, and Java instance is not required. Means if your Java instance is up, it's not a mandatory, and Java instance is down, it's not a big deal. Means Java instance up or Java instance down, okay, I can open config tool. Using config tool, what I can do, I can set JVM setting parameter configurations. JVM parameters I can configure, and I can configure the services and managers. We will see what is the services and managers. Okay, so these are the uses of my config tool. Are you getting my point? So these are the uses of my config tool. Special features: restart NetWeaver Java also. Okay, no username password is required. Whenever I am opening config tool, it does not require, it does not ask any username and password. Directly it will open. Why? Because it is an offline tool. Config tool, we call it as an offline tool. We will discuss practically. Okay. And this is NetWeaver Administrator, NWA. This is a different tool. Database must be running and your Java instance should be running. So this is online tool. If your instance is not running, then you cannot start NetWeaver Administrator tool. Okay. Using this, what we can do, we can start stop the cluster elements, and we can start stop our Java instance, and we can start stop Java applications, and we can display services and manager properties. We have a services managers are there. So those properties also we can display using a NetWeaver Administrator tool, right? And one more tool is Visual Administrator tool. Using NetWeaver Administrator, we can continuously monitor our Java stack system. Means what is the response time, how my system is utilizing, how my memory is utilizing. Those we can do it. We can monitor using NetWeaver Administrator tool. And the second one is Visual Administrator. What is meant by Visual Administrator? Visual Administrator also database must be running, Java instance should be running. Means this is also online tool. If your Java instance down, then you cannot start Visual Administrator tool, right? So using this, you can configure the servers and services and managers, and you can do a remote configuration and start stopping of services. Services also we can start, and we can also stop in Java instance. We cannot start the Java instance, only we can stop the Java instance. Remote configuration means what? Remotely also we can connect, but whenever you are logged in, you are opening Visual Administrator, it will ask you the username and password. Without username and password, you cannot log into the Visual Administrator. And you can make the changes for selected parameters at runtime. At runtime, you can make the changes. Okay. So the remaining part we will discuss on tomorrow. By practically we will see config tool, how to open NWA tool, how to open Visual Administrator tool. Tomorrow we will discuss. Okay. Tomorrow one
Right.
more. Tomorrow we have a patch upgrade practicals, patch upgrade, S note upgrade, and all the things. Okay.